Track, as you can see, the Timberwolves, I just mentioned their schedule to avoid the play-in, and you can see the Golden State Warriors there as well. Speaking of the Warriors, they take on the Blazers tonight. That game is in Portland, then finish the season against the Clippers at home on Sunday. After that Grizzlies loss last night, the Dubs, they do control their own destiny for the 6th seed. If they win both games, they will take that spot and be out of the play-in tournament. They are, though, when you look at their average age, the oldest, one of the oldest teams in the league, David. So could being in the play-in tournament make or break their chances at a deep run when you consider that maybe resting some of those veterans is important?
Absolutely. For all intents and purposes, the Warriors play-in tournament starts tonight against Portland. If they win these next 2 games, they are guaranteed a week of rest, which these guys desperately need when it comes to that fourth quarter against that Spurs team, which, again, is an inexcusable loss. Yeah. Those guys looked a little bit tired going against them. But the other benefit is you're a 6th seed. You're playing a Lakers team that you have a good chance of beating. I would take the Warriors over that Lakers in that first round. It would be a tough series, but I would take them. But also, you find yourself on the opposite side of the bracket of OKC. You avoid them until you get into that conference finals, and you have winnable series up until then. These are must-win games against Portland and the Clippers. This game against the Clippers at the end of this weekend, that is going to be a playoff-level, one-and-done type of game.
Essentially, Perk, 48 minutes against the Clippers, assuming they're able to get us a win against the Portland Trailblazers, and you don't want to overlook any team at this point in the season, their play-in or playoff chances could come down to just those 48 minutes.
No, it could. And I agree with everything that David just said. And Malika, can I take a moment? Can I take a moment?
It's all yours.
Thank you, Adam Silver. The play-in tournament has been the best thing that has happened to the NBA in the last 10 years. Right? Think about it. At these moments, especially when I was playing, this was a dead period. Like, no one cared. Guys were resting. Guys were planning trips to go to Cancun. Now, all of a sudden, we're here, and we still don't know what's going to happen in the Western Conference. Now we're here, and over the last month or so, guys have been playing playoff basketball. The Warriors have been in the playoffs since they got Jimmy Butler, to be honest with you. So it's nothing new. And when I think about the Warriors and I think about how they're playing, they only can control what they can control. That's getting the win against Portland, handling their business tonight, and getting another must-win Sunday against the Clippers, which is going to be a brawl for it all. But if they get in that 6th seed, the Lakers are in trouble because the Warriors will beat them. But again, shout out to Adam Silver, best commissioner in sports. The addition of the play-in tournament has been beautiful and the best thing that happened to the game of basketball.
The addition to the play-in tournament is awesome for my basketball fandom. It's terrible for my workout routine because I'm going to be on the couch all weekend long with Perk level.
Like, I know people are going to love this. He sent me like MJ videos every day about like blacking out. And I think MJ said something like, why would I worry about a miss if I haven't took the shot yet?
Yes, we do love when that MJ Anthony Edwards connection comes up again. He plays the game with an energy that it's really infectious. It's unmatched. He notched his 8th 40-point game this season, set yet another Timberwolves record on this journey here. The Grizzlies, they've lost 9 of their last 14 games. The Wolves, they've won 15 of their last 19. So, Perk, are either of these teams, are you feeling like they can be legitimate threats in the Western Conference?
The Grizzlies are legitimate threats of what?
What about the Timberwolves?
Now the Timberwolves, let me say this. Do I have them as a legitimate threat as a team? Absolutely not. But I will say this. Anthony Edwards is the most dangerous player in the Western Conference. Right? Like, it's a lot of better teams, I feel like, that are in the West that are, like, will beat them in a 7-game series. But would we really be surprised if come playoff time that all we're talking about is Anthony Edwards? Because he has the capability of not only winning you a game in the playoff series, but actually winning you a series by himself because he's that damn good. He's the best two-way player in the game right now, hands down. He sets the tone defensively. He picks up 94 feet, and offensively, he just said it himself. I mean, you know, I'm not afraid of the moment. I'm not afraid of taking shots. So when I think about Anthony Edwards and I think about what he's capable of doing and upsetting some teams, he's the most dangerous player in the Western Conference this postseason.
Yeah, Minnesota is a wild card. I'll tell you who's not a wild card. It's that Memphis Grizzlies squad. I'm sorry to say, I hate to be the bearer of bad news to the folks in Memphis. Like, their calling card has been defense, right?
Yeah.
That has been the thing that has got to sustain them through the injuries. Whenever they have issues, it's the defense. Ever since since the All-Star break, essentially, they've been a middling defense in the league, and you just cannot excuse giving up 52 points in a quarter to that Minnesota Timberwolves squad. The Grizzlies have fallen off a cliff, especially with firing a coach in the middle of all this mess. And they're a play-in team at best, and they're going to be, unfortunately, a short series for whoever they face, whether that be OKC or Houston.
Not to mention they have a tough stretch down this final weekend of the regular season, because why I feel so good about the Timberwolves, when you look at the Grizzlies, they still have to play the Nuggets again. The Clippers and Warriors, they have to go through each other. When you look at the Timberwolves here, all they got to do is beat a ton of questions to be answered, because only 5 teams have locked up their seeding. That is it. So here's what we know. We know the Cavaliers and the Thunder. They are the 1 seeds in their respective conferences. OKC, they've locked up the best record in the league. We also know the 2 seeds, right? The Celtics, the Rockets. They've locked those up in each conference, guaranteeing home court until the conference finals. But with that, there's only one other thing we know, at least seeding-wise, right? We know the Orlando Magic are 7th in the East, because that's how wild the season is, right? That means that each team in the NBA with only 2 games left in the regular season, 15 of them still have a little TBD next to their names for their seedings when you include the play-in. So 2 teams that could be on a first-round collision course here, Cade Cunningham and the Pistons, and the New York Knicks. DDJ, we got a preview of some of what that could look like. Of course, the Knicks were shorthanded in this one. No OG Anunoby, no Josh Hart, but things were chippy from the get.
This was a playoff-level basketball game already. I just wish the Knicks had their full team there, but this was still playoff intense.
What do we mention about that chippiness as Cade Cunningham tries to find his way through Jalen Brunson there? Just a little bit of back and forth, and it continues right here. Tough defense. This is what happens when these 2 teams link up. PJ Tucker, known for that intensity there. Dennis Schroeder can't help but smile. And then Cade Cunningham coming up, pulls up for 3, and he needed to let everybody know. What's that team he is repping? Oh, yeah, it's Detroit basketball. Going ahead here to the 4th quarter now. 11:30 to go. Towns off the inbound, buries that long 2-pointer there. So the Knicks, they take a 2-point lead. This was a good evening for Karl Anthony Towns, DDJ.
Yeah, he really came alive in that 4th quarter after a slow start, but he was really the Knicks' primary offense during that stretch.
He finished with 25 points, 10 rebounds, his 31st type of performance this season that ties him for the 5th most 25 and 10 games in Knicks history. But we still got some game to play. Cade Cunningham, there's something he likes about playing against New York, going to work there, flips it in. Pistons now take a 2-point lead. And then the Pistons up 1 here. Cunningham in the post again, gets to his spot and puts it in.
A little mouse in the house from Cade Cunningham. This dude knew how to get to his spot all night.
Once again, gets that mid-range jumper, gets that one to go. The Pistons extend their lead and get to the win in this one. The Pistons are now 3-1 against the New York Knicks this season. And if you're sleeping on Cade Cunningham, his play will be the nightmare that wakes you up. Just look at these numbers that the Pistons are having plenty of confidence, right, heading into the playoffs. There's an 85% chance, DDJ, that we are going to see the Pistons and the Knicks meeting up in this first round. The New York Knicks are a great basketball team. We did not see their full complement of players last night, but the Pistons could give them some trouble here in the first round.
They can give them some more than trouble. They could knock them out in that first round. This is a nightmare scenario for this New York Knicks team to be facing this Detroit Pistons squad. First of all, we got to talk about Cade Cunningham, as we just did. They're in a situation with as good as Brunson is, with as great as Karl Anthony Towns is, they will not have the best player on the court when they face Detroit Pistons. The best player on the court is going to be Cade Cunningham. We just saw what he did. 30 points average over the season, but that's not even including the 30-point blowout that they had. The last 3 games, he's averaged about 35 points. This dude knows how to get to his spot against those Knicks. It was mouse in the house all night. He knows how to slow that thing down, and then also he can get the ball to the bigs down low. He has just so many problems for that Knicks team defensively. Then on the other side, this Pistons squad is a top 10 defense since the All-Star break. They can cause a lot of trouble on that end as well.
We've talked about how they have the right infusion of young stars along with vets. It feels like they finally got all the pieces clicking at the right time, and they certainly play tough. J.B. Bickerstaff, of course, has playoff experience. I'm not sure I can go quite as far with you that they have the best player in this series. If Jalen Brunson is at his full complement, of course, he's been working his way back from injury here. For the Knicks to be able to put the Pistons away, what's going to come down to?
It's going to come down to Karl Anthony Towns to me. It's going to be about him being the guy that he was in that fourth quarter. He's averaging